Before you begin, take a look at the site structure in HTML. Start by making the image at the top of the page a little smaller. Navigate to style.css and write a CSS selector for the image tag. Within the curly braces, write height 150 pixels. To select an image tag, use the following selector: image, curly braces. So let's write that: image, curly braces, height 150 pixels. Let's save and the image will get smaller. Number 2, the font size of the recipe description should be larger. In style.css, write a CSS selector for the .description class. Within its curly braces, add the following CSS: dot description, font size 20 pixels. Next, let's style the cooking time. The element on line 15 of index.html has an ID attribute of cook time. Navigate to style CSS and add cook time ID selector. So for ID, we're going to use hashtag cook time, curly braces, font weight, bold. Now let's change the bullet points of the ingredients list to square instead of circles. Start by writing a selector for the ally elements inside of the dot ingredient elements. Then write this inside of its curly braces. So we're going to select the class ingredients and then write ally. So it's going to be dot ingredients and then list, and we're going to add list style square. Next, let's make the time for each preparation set appear gray. In style.css, write a selector for p elements that also have a class of dot time. Then inside of this selector curly braces, write color gray. So we're going to first call the p elements and then dot time. Color, there it is. We're only selecting the p elements that have the class time. At the bottom of the page, there's a link to the full recipe. Let's make the link a different color. Notice that in index.html on line 42, there's a p element with a class of citation. Then an a element inside of it with a class of external link. Navigate to style.css and write a selector using external link class. Then add this code inside of the selector curly braces. So there's a class here of external link, and for classes we use dot. For classes we use dot in the name of the class, and here we're going to change to color sea green. There it is. Finally, let's make the font Helvetica instead of the default Times New Roman. Instead of writing multiple selectors to apply the font family property, write a selector that applies the font family attribute to all text at once. The selector should target H1, H2, P, and ally elements. To change their font, include this line of code inside the curly braces. So because we're selecting several elements, we're going to separate them by a comma, and there it is.